Welcome back. You're watching Morning Live. Thank you so much for staying with us. African National Congress President Cyril Ramaphosa addressed angry, disappointed community members from the Alexandra township yesterday about their plight for basic service delivery. The president was speaking at the Alex Stadium after a day of total shutdown over a week's protests over crime, service delivery and drugs. And while the president was listening to the cries of the residents, Julius Malema, leader of the economic freedom fighters, said that the hashtag Alexandra Total Shutdown campaign was the brainchild of the African National Congress. Johannesburg Mayor Herman Mashaba recently also blamed the ANC for the protests. Joining us now is Sandile Swana, who is a lecturer at the Wits School of Governance. A very good morning to you and welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you so much, Viola.
It's been quite a week, hasn't it? Because just this morning we see how hashtag Total Shutdown is moving from the hub that was Alex into Swana, and I think it's going to carry on for a couple more weeks. What do you make of this past week?
Thank you so much. I think when you talk about the movement of the protest, I heard Zwelinzima saying that these protests must now move across the whole country, which I think shows that there is confusion ultimately what these protests are about and what they must achieve. Where some are saying this is an opportunity for the working class and so on to sort of change the political scenario. So that's one leg of it. But coming back to the one where Cyril Ramaphosa was at yesterday, which is the Alex one. The matter of Alex and the service delivery, as you would call it, that goes back to around 1999, right up until the time that Thabo Mbeki, the president at the time, launched the Alex Renewal Program, which has been mentioned quite specifically during this time. The Alex Renewal Program, when you look at the research reports around the Alex Renewal Program, which was a 7-year program starting in 2001, the academic research around it shows that the objectives that they had at the time were relatively achieved. What actually happened was that the momentum was lost in the program. The other thing to notice about this is that the people of Alexandra formed the Alexandra Development Forum to participate in the Alex Renewal project, which they did very well. The questions that need to be asked today is what did they do as well to allow it to fall into disuse, to lose momentum, because they were monitoring the procurement processes, the project plans, etc. They were very heavily involved. That is the Alex Development Forum. So at the same time, Alexandra Township, out of about 9 wards, 8 of them are totally controlled by the ANC. Only the ward in Wynberg is controlled by the DA. So the question then is, because development in any given area is actually in the ward committees led by ward councillors, we need to find out what have been these ward councillors doing to monitor closely each project for development within Alex. Now that they are bursting out into protests, we don't have the background as to what have they been doing, because they are supposed to be monitoring these things on a daily basis. That information has not been forthcoming. And the last comment I want to give about this is that the building on the banks of the Jaskei River, which is one of the biggest topics here, if you go even on Google and so on, you will see pictures of houses and shacks that were built, already well built by 2014, and the elections were in 2016. Those shacks were there at that time, and the mayor and his council at that time did not remove those shacks. We're not saying that Mashaba should have left them there, but those shacks were not built in the past couple of years that Mashaba was there. The culture of building outside of the building laws and the bylaws and so on in Alex is well established. It started once apartheid took in. The landowners of Alex, the indigenous people of Alex, in order to pay rent, because their properties were seized, were nationalized, and they were 10 tenants. They were property owners before apartheid came, then there were 10 tenants. So in order to afford the rent, they started building shacks in their own yards. So that culture has continued. And the last comment maybe that I must make about this is that Alex is designed for 70,000 people, and we have more than 500,000 people, more than 500,000 people living in Alex. So no matter who the mayor is, Alex needs solutions that are exceptionally creative to address those problems, because the volume of people there and the intensity of use of the infrastructure is beyond imagination.
You mentioned the Alex Renewal Project, first tabled in 2001. Approximately 1.3 billion rand is the amount that was allocated to operations within the township. So at this point, no one can actually account for the money. Where is it?
I actually have a problem with this whole issue. From Cyril Ramaphosa's point of view, I can start there. Cyril Ramaphosa has got a whole department full of professionals, which is called the Department of Monitoring and Evaluation. So if President Thabo Mbeki kicked off, which means that the project of the Alex Renewal came from the presidency. It's a brainchild of the president of the country. And regardless of who is the president at a particular date, it is a project of the presidency. And within the presidency, there is a whole department, fully fledged, that is supposed to do a monitoring and performance evaluation. So if I am the president, like Cyril Ramaphosa, I would simply send a message to my office to say, can you give me the monitoring and performance evaluation report of the Alex Renewal Project?
Sure.
And then it would tell me that we budgeted 100 rand for that, 200 rand for that, and what happened, and why haven't we performed up, before we even spread allegations around about whether money was stolen or not stolen.
You mentioned President Ramaphosa. So as much as it makes sense that any state president will go to a hotspot where there are angry citizens, some people are saying that he used it as electioneering, as an opportunity to campaign for the 8th of May.
Yes, I think that we've got to give politicians their space. Right now, it's the season where every politician is trying to do anything they can possibly do to win votes for his or her party. As to whether the strategies they are using are correct, it's another question altogether. There is no question that at this point in time, every politician out there, including Cyril Ramaphosa, is trying to win votes. So you've got to grant them that. Where I got a little bit disturbed is that both the deputy president and the president being Cyril Ramaphosa, deputy president David Mabuza, they could not do, in the areas they designated, they could not do door-to-door visits. Because Cyril Ramaphosa was going to Alex to do door-to-door visits. He could not do it. He ended up at the stadium. You can speak at the stadium for 30 minutes, but there's still enough time in the day to go to. He could not do that. Have we now started situations where places like Alex are no-go areas for campaigning because of instability? Mm-hmm. David Mabuza could not do in Pretoria his own door-to-door campaign because of this so-called shutdown and what have you. So there is a bit of intolerance that is kicking in now that I don't know to what extent it is even affecting the ANC, but we've seen two of their most senior officials not being able to campaign in a door-to-door fashion. And
then you have Zweli saying that we must take total shutdown around the country. That will mean that there will be no opportunities for any political parties to actually take what they plan on doing for the country to the people. Exactly. So this whole idea of a shutdown, whoever conceived of it, is anti-democracy in itself. Who do you think conceived of it? I cannot answer that question. I don't know the answer to that question. No, I can't answer that. You say, though, it was ill-conceived. Do you believe that it is something that was organized and is being pushed? No, I mean, action. I was an activist before myself in my younger days as a student. So these things don't happen out of the blue. Somebody is busy with this. Whether it is well thought out in terms of its long-term implication and its usefulness to the quality of lives of the ordinary people, it's another question altogether. Somebody is behind this. I don't know who it is, but somebody is behind this. You mentioned the need for research and actually having a very clear picture of what's happened before we start saying where money has gone and why projects haven't actually worked. UCT and UJ conducted research about the socioeconomic situation in Alex. How can government possibly use that and deal with it?
Yeah, so the Human Sciences Research Council, UJ and UCT, certainly this is material that is immediately available on the internet, on Google too. You don't even need to go to a university library. Big reports are available on this. In Gauteng, you also have the Gauteng City Regional Observatory, which is supposed to be advising the likes of David Makura on a research basis. There's a partnership of universities with the government. Now, the problem sometimes with politicians is that a politician looks for the shortest cut or the most convenient route that can win him the votes in the short term, because there is no problem in Alex, in Gauteng, in South Africa that is going to be solved in the next 4 weeks. Most problems are going to take many years to resolve.
Most of them are going to take many years. And I wish we had some more time to pick your brain a little bit more. It's been a great conversation, though. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning. That's Sandile Swana, lecturer at the Wits School of Governance, for talking to us about issues related to the Alex Township protests and hashtag total shutdowns. Time now for us to take a break. We'll be back after this.